Hello everyone, my name's Danny and today we will be talking about the applications and impacts of modern technology on supply chain management. I was working in a team with Alex and Shalom. In this presentation we will be discussing the following topics as they relate to how managers are impacted by modern technology and the roles it plays in supply chain management. There are three topics that we will cover in this presentation. Robotics, drones and automation will be covered by myself. AI and machine learning will be covered by Shalom, and big data will be covered by Alex. We'll discuss each of these key concepts, each topic, and we will also explain what it can mean for managers across the supply chain. We're of the view that modern technology aids more than it restricts managers from operating successfully in their supply chain. So I'll be talking about robotics, drones, and automation. Some key concepts in this field: the RPA systems, also known as robotic process automation, is the implementation of robotics to complete repeatable and structured tasks that would otherwise be done by human resources. Drones are also known as UAVs, and they are typically used in the transporting bit of the supply chain. They're an alternative in many industries and they can be implemented throughout the supply chain. They have varying degrees of success, depending on business model and products, which we will look at more in the applications section. The automation section of this topic can be split into four subsections. This will look at material flow, information and decision making, as well as relationship, supervision and control. The management systems that we used in this are largely used for inventory and transport control. They can also be used for data mining to aid decision making. We will look at this further in the applications in the next slide. So for the applications, in robotics specifically, there is automatic order creation. This looks at the creation of a network of information and reports that connects the supply chains to manage inventories as well as making purchasing orders. A fun fact that I found was the 5.71% increase in RPA system use between 2017 and 2018. This statistic has only grown since then. For drone usage, it was used largely for the transport of products to customers. Amazon and Alibaba are the main investors, and this can be seen as a really advantageous aspect for the retail sector, as their capacity isn't that large, so they can deliver smaller items and products to customers. It's also used in the medical field to deliver vaccines and medicines to rural areas. In the automation sector, it can be used for the transport and management of inventories. It can be used on massive scales, as seen as in seaports and airports. For example, the loading and unloading processes, they've all been automated. In the manufacturing industry, they have developed numerically controlled systems to track and control production levels with local factory computing systems. Enterprise resource planning was aided by electronic data exchange, which allows sharing of documents across multiple computing systems. This has been massive for the automation of robotics and data management. So you can see in all of the processes that I've just talked about, the electronic data interchange has been used. On the next slide, we will assess the benefits and potential issues of all of these applications and their concepts. So they are very easy to implement and can be applied to existing systems. Robotics can also be used to improve accuracy, as they can only do what they're programmed to do. So the loads and capacities for which they complete their tasks is set, so they cannot vary from those programs. They have reduced downtimes as they store data from previous actions, and they can use it to carry out their next tasks. For example, for the order systems, they can look at previous orders and base data off that. The downsides of robotics is that they're becoming increasingly complex, which means they're also costly and difficult to use. This can make them difficult to comprehend for some users, which puts them off from using it. They're also their complexity and their higher costs can make it difficult to implement throughout supply chains, where funding might not be similar or accessible to all of the aspects of the supply chain. There was a study that found there was a decrease in the sorry, let me start again there. There's a study found that per each unit increase in perceived cost, there was a 32.4% decrease in intention to adopt the technologies. This shows the impact of the cost as well as the complexity. There are also issues with significant variations in finance and ability to invest in these systems, which I just stated earlier. For the drones, there was improved flexibility in delivery times, as well as speedier transport, because they're able to navigate denser areas and they can avoid the traffic and congestion in these areas. They're also a more sustainable method as they don't use fossil fuels and they are electrically powered. There are some downsides to this, however. Due to their small capacities, they can't deliver to the extent of lorries, as well as their distance that they can travel. This is a large issue for them in application of large retail sectors such as Amazon. There are also issues regarding the threats of human and cyber attacks. These are very real threats, and due to the lack of manning in person, they're very weak and vulnerable if they were to be exploited. In the automation sector, there's reduced reliance on human resources. They also remove human resources from simpler tasks where they've been de-skilled, and they can be used for the more skilled tasks where innovation might be needed. They can also be used in the improved integration of planning systems to develop flexibility. This helps them vary their inventories depending on demand, and it can make them more adaptable to current markets. That is all I have to say. Thank you for listening. I will then pass you on to my colleague.
Garcia, and I'll be talking about big data analytics within the context of an international supply chain. So big data analytics is the storage and analysis of large or complex data sets using a series of techniques, including but not limited to machine learning, which was talking about previously. I'm keen to highlight the mutual interdependencies between big data and predictive analytics. However, it's most important to understand big data analytics definition is purely concentrated around the pure mass of volume of data. What is big data analytics actually composed of? So 5 V's: volume, velocity, variety, veracity, and value. Each category is used to generate and analyze the data. For example, volume, the pure volume of data; velocity, the rate of the data; variety, dependent on what the data is. It could be predictive analytics or prescriptive, quantitative or qualitative; and also the value which the data holds in itself. Talking about within the context of the supply chain, big data analytics are used by organizations and managers to collect supply chain data from various heterogeneous systems distributed across organizations. In a case study, understanding how big data analytics helps to build supply chain resilience, Mohammed Baharami and Sajad Shokuya in 2021 concluded that with the use of data analytics, it brought the capabilities to create a competitive advantage for businesses through supply chain resourcing. The competitive advantage was the fact that the firm was able to respond quickly to customer demands, which is generally one of the challenges in the market. However, this is dependent on the degree of innovation, the rapid changes in products and services of the firms, and what resources are available to the firm to implement the data analytics. However, the big data analytics provided the capacity to discover solutions and problems and provide appropriate responses to market challenges increasing. It's also found that big data analytics helps firms to increase their resilient capabilities in managing supply chain risk. Business analytics capability supports management decisions making and increasing supply chain transparency and innovation to improve business performance and reduce environmental variability. As a result, it was concluded that big data analytics increase the interconnectivity of the supply chain and therefore increase supply chain resilience. Now we go on to look at the application of big data analytics within the supply chain. Firstly, looking at big data analytics in demand planning. Demand planning is a simple chain management process that enables a company to project future demand and successfully categorize company output, be it products or services, in accordance to those projections. The implementation of big data analytics within demand planning is specifically within forecasting. Forecasting provides an insight on demand signal, optimal price, and customer loyalty, new member trends, and determining root causes or failures, defects and issues, and that can be all identified by big data analytics. This allows to bring greater insight in towards the customer's wants and needs, and allows opportunity for innovation and creativity within the business services of the supply chain. Within forecasting, it's split into 4 sections, so it's mostly qualitative and it's specific, broken down by times, series, or casual. Managers must identify what factors have impacted the past demand as historical data, and those factors will often influence future demand. A further topic of application with big data analytics within the supply chain is inventory management. Inventory management entails purchasing and physical inventory reconciliation. A form of forecasting will also be applied to this. Talking now more specifically about the impacts that big data analytics have on the supply chain, and specifically benefits. Bottlenecks within the supply chain are drastically decreased and removed. This is because of the possibility of monitoring and analysing data by the managers. This therefore increases the efficiency and performance of the whole supply chain. Impacts on profit and increasing sales are the fact that the use of historical data, financial managers can constantly monitor and further analyse data, therefore be able to ensure maximum profitability and be taken from the investment. A further impact of big data analysis is the increased customer service satisfaction. The fact is, the access to the real-time data and ability to time and analyse these data provide operational managers with the ability to match the inventory levels with customer orders and tastes, which as a result increases customer satisfaction. Spikes and depressions can also be predicted using forecasting techniques. These techniques can further predict customer demand and seasonal trends to accurately inventory planning at different times for managers. Lastly, to add, there is an overall reduced cost by the migration to the cloud by big data analytics. Because of the software as a service approach to IT management, it means that the cloud-based nature of big data reduces hardware maintenance costs, as software is cheaper. It can be used seamlessly and integrated to existing systems with a minimum of expense.
Good afternoon, my name is Shalom and I will be discussing AI and machine learning. AI is a set of technologies that enable computers to perform a variety of different functions, including the ability to see, understand, and translate spoken and written language, analyze data, and make recommendations. Machine learning is a subset of AI, which uses mathematical data to help a computer learn and improve on its own without direct instruction. AI has the potential to boost the global GDP by 1.2% and is estimated to contribute economically about $12 trillion by 2030. AI can also aid or even restrict managers in making a resilient supply chain, one which learns from its mistakes and adapts depending on the markets it's faced with. A recent case study was conducted in 2022 by Mogill et al., where they discussed how artificial intelligence helps to build supply chain resilience, especially when it comes to learning from the mistakes that were made in the crash that COVID-19 caused, which affected many businesses, both great and small. We are mainly going to discuss how AI plays a big role and how it can be managed mainly in terms of tracking shelf life and demand in the broader terms of inventory. This shows the practical side of AI, not just the theory, It shows managers where in their supply chain needs more attention, and it also links the allocation of funds in terms of manufacturing and marketing. AI can predict and tell you exactly how long a product has been left on the shelves and how much it will take to restock each one, and whether or not it'll be beneficial for your business or profitable for managers to do so. Ultimately, AI helps with the way that managers design their supply chain to make it more resilient in different markets where they wouldn't have been able to experience yet prior to COVID-19. As we have now finished discussing inventory, we can now turn to the demand planning and forecasting side of supply chain management, which AI and machine learning helps to aid with. Machine learning can help managers to adapt to different markets by taking information from a previously successful supply chain and making scientific predictions about the future without requiring any oversight. Here we can clearly see how AI and machine learning work in conjunction with one another, because AI can help with the planning of the demand, and the machine learning can help with the forecasting of the demand. This is ultimately a more quantitative approach for managers to take for both short and medium and long-term ranging forecasts, depending on the stability of said market over time. However, it is important to note that it does not work on all types of forecasting. Moving averages specifically don't help to forecast trends. This relates closely to machine learning because it can only take from past experiences and then predict the future climate of said market, but it cannot take in control of trends of the current market. Even though it doesn't have the ability to predict 3 periods ahead, it can still predict to 1 period ahead. We are now going to discuss how AI and machine learning can help managers in terms of their supply chain designs, location logistics, economic implications, and any risks that they might have to weigh up. AI aids managers in terms of accessing all the risks in all the different environments that they may want to enter into, which can then aid the manager in making effective decisions that benefit their supply chain. For example, in a high-risk area, a manager may choose, based on the information that AI has given them, to put their HQ most closer to their manufacturing so they can protect any interests or any expensive investments. AI can also influence what type of design you decide to take, whether you choose to make a responsive or an efficient supply chain, or whether or not you as a company will do make to orders or design to orders. This is all based on the AI's assessment of which type of customer indicates the AI less prone. We're going to less about the AI the organization. Organizational, I can manage you because on the other hand, however, there are technological illiteracy is one of the main issues. Employees that are unable to understand how to use AI can lead to a lot of wasted opportunities and miscommunication, and which can ultimately harm the organization. So managers need to be able to liaise with employees on a daily basis. Not only that, but it also can be argued that managers have to be able to properly train their employees and also encourage them to embrace AI and its many advantages. And as discussed previously, even though AI and machine learning can aid in some forms of forecasting, it can't aid in terms of trends and some areas of forecasting like moving advantages. Ultimately, it can be concluded that AI and technology has its benefits and has its potential issues. However, the benefits do outweigh the potential issues that you have. Ultimately, the embracing of AI and machine learning can help managers to properly build a resilient supply chain, one which is successful and profitable. Thank you. In conclusion, today we have discussed robotics, drones, automation, AI and machine learning, and big data, and how they relate to how managers are impacted by modern technologies and the role that it plays in the supply chain. Ultimately, we have come to the conclusion that even though it has potential risks, AI and machine learning and all modern technologies have a positive impact within the supply chain and can help managers to better organize their organizations. Thank you.